The moment resonated deeply, echoing across the tumultuous landscape of America. The time has come to decide, will we fight for our rights through the ballot or the bullet? This question, posed by Martin Luther King Jr. in 1964, crystallized the essence of the civil rights struggle. It wasn't merely rhetorical, it reflected the urgency felt within a nation grappling with its conscience. As the civil rights movement surged, King's words loomed larger, a beacon for those who felt unheard and disempowered. In an era marked by racial strife, King urged Black Americans to reclaim their power, embracing their voice as both a weapon and a tool for change. The year was 1964, a time of drastic social upheaval. The Civil Rights Act was on the horizon, yet systemic oppression reigned supreme. Jim Crow laws kept African Americans shackled in a cycle of disenfranchisement. Hope flickered like a candle in the wind. Across the nation, African Americans yearned for equality, the right to vote, and for dignity stripped away by decades of oppression. The stakes were high, society was being tested by a relentless struggle against inequality. As King sought to galvanize communities, he stood on the shoulders of giants, figures like Mahatma Gandhi, who employed nonviolent resistance. His philosophy was one of peaceful protest, yet he understood the palpable rage simmering beneath the surface. For many, patience had worn thin. The intersections of hope and frustration led to increased militancy among young activists grappling with whether nonviolence was enough in the face of relentless brutality. King recognized this dilemma, striking a balance between hope and urgency. As tensions thickened, King's ballot or bullet speech emerged. On April 3, 1964, at the Freedom National Convention in New York City, King delivered a message that would resonate through history. He stood before a sea of engaged faces, reflecting the dreams and frustrations of a community yearning for change. The fog of uncertainty was pierced by King's words, a call to action, empowering his audience to transform their sense of agency. "We have waited for more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights," he declared. In King's message lay a stark recognition of the consequences of inaction. He laid bare the stakes. For every moment of silence, for every vote uncast, the potential for violence loomed. It is not enough to merely vocalize our discontent, we must claim our power as citizens. This was an awakening that transcended rhetoric, a clarion call urging those who felt the weight of oppression to harness their voices. King's words served as both rallying cry and testament to the duality of hope and urgency within the civil rights movement. They encapsulated a philosophy that spoke to the necessity of peaceful activism while recognizing the struggle ahead. This intricate dance between empowerment and societal resistance would become the cornerstone of his legacy, resonating even today, in a world still grappling with justice and equality. The landscape of American society was marred by deep-seated tensions and injustices. King stood at the forefront, a beacon amidst the despair. His ballot or bullet speech, delivered in April 1964 at the historic Riverside Church, emerged from a crucible of struggle, crafted as a call for action against systemic oppression. In the months leading up to this moment, King had witnessed victories in the civil rights movement, yet disillusionment crept among young African Americans, impatient with slow progress. They were weary of platitudes, wanting tangible results. Their frustration echoed through the streets. King felt this urgency. Bloody confrontations had illustrated the violent pushback against the quest for rights. King, ever the strategist, knew the time for a decisive moment had arrived. His words needed to balance hope with the reality of resistance. In his passionate delivery, King invoked the power of the ballot, urging his audience to recognize that true change could come only through active participation. "The ballot is stronger than the bullet," he proclaimed, asserting that the ballot was an instrument of agency. This was not merely a speech, it was a blueprint for action, guiding the oppressed to assert their rightful place in society. King did not shy away from harsh realities. He acknowledged the growing resentment among young people who felt peaceful methods were insufficient. He stated, "It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment," signaling that the struggle for civil rights would not wait for complacency to shift. Despite risks, King believed that nonviolence was the most powerful path forward. He highlighted the legacy of leaders who fought for justice without violence, recalling Gandhi and Jesus Christ. These echoes reinforced the significance of moral high ground amid escalating tension. As his audience absorbed his words, they faced a stark choice: the ballot or the bullet. This duality demanded action. King's call was a mix of urgency and hope, encouraging African Americans to engage politically while acknowledging frustrations pushing them towards violence. In this critical juncture, King stood resolute, embodying the spirit of resilience. His ballot or bullet speech was not just a reflection of his ideals but a manifesto for generations, illuminating a path toward justice that resonates today. On that evening in Cleveland, the air charged with anticipation, King stood before those weary yet hopeful, longing for change. With each word, he wove a narrative of struggle and the need for political engagement. The phrase ballot or bullet encapsulated conflicting emotions within the African American community, the desire for justice and frustration from years of disenfranchisement. King knew the struggle was personal. He spoke of individuals enduring humiliation simply due to their skin color. Images of violence played in the minds of those present. He painted a picture of a nation where equality seemed elusive. Yet, even as he acknowledged harsh realities, King remained steadfast in his belief in nonviolence and the power of the ballot. "It is not the bullet that will solve our problems," he declared, emphasizing that voting empowered them to reclaim rights. To King, voting was a weapon against oppression. In the months before this speech, King witnessed the tumultuous dynamics of the civil rights movement. The Freedom Rides revealed the violent backlash awaiting those challenging segregation. These events starkly reminded him that change required courage. At the crossroads of despair and hope, King implored his audience not to turn to violence. "We must meet hate with love," he urged. This principle became the cornerstone of his philosophy, emphasizing that justice was about transforming hearts. The ballot or bullet speech served as a rallying cry, igniting a fire within those who listened and challenging them to reconsider the power of their voices. His plea was clear: action was required, not only from the oppressed but from allies who stood in solidarity. King pressed home the notion that the struggle for civil rights was a moral imperative demanding collective action. As he concluded this impassioned address, King left the crowd transformed. The urgency of his message lingered, a testament to the power of words to inspire change. His vision for a just society burned brightly, reminding everyone that the journey was ongoing, a fight steeped in history yet fueled by hope. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, but with every voice raised and every ballot cast, the promise of equality drew nearer. As King's words echoed, they continue to resonate in the hearts of those fighting for justice today. The ballot or bullet speech is a declaration of intent, signaling the urgency of the civil rights movement. It illuminates a path demanding courage and commitment from those feeling the weight of oppression. This moment serves as a touchstone for ongoing struggles, reminding us that the battle for equality is a living fight, still very much alive. Today, King's words resonate with advocates against systemic racism and inequality. Ballot or bullet encapsulates the duality of the struggle, the call to participate in democracy versus the grim reality of potential violence when peace is disregarded. In an era of voter suppression and silenced voices, King's message demands attention, reminding us that the power of the ballot is essential, a weapon of choice affirming our rights as citizens. His urgency reverberates through today's movements, whether for Black Lives Matter or immigrant rights. As we reflect on King's speech, we witness its integration into contemporary activism. The imagery of a movement fueled by hope and urgency ties seamlessly with modern struggles for justice. Activists rally behind issues King would recognize: economic disparity, systemic racism, and the fight for civil liberties. His belief that love and justice can prevail continues to inspire new generations to take the torch of activism. King's call is echoed in the stands of young leaders today. They gather in protests, share stories on social media, and mobilize. In a divided world, King's call for solidarity resonates with urgency. His legacy reminds us we can drive change, that our voices can create ripples of transformation. However, King warned of despair should those in power ignore urgent cries for change. His message is a stark reminder that without active participation, progress stalls. The modern civil rights movement battles obstacles: voter suppression laws, systemic inequality, and a justice system that often fails its citizens. Yet, in this despair lies hope, the belief that every action, every vote, every raised voice contributes to a larger narrative of justice. As we contemplate King's legacy, we recognize our responsibility. Are we merely spectators in life's theater, or are we actors willing to confront injustices? King's challenge is still relevant. We must balance hope and urgency, action and inaction. His vision demands our participation, resilience, and willingness to engage in difficult conversations that can lead to genuine change. As we consider the implications of the ballot or bullet speech, we are called to action in our own lives. Each of us possesses the power to influence our communities. Whether through educating ourselves about pressing issues, participating in local elections, or advocating for policies protecting equity, we are part of the ongoing narrative King championed. Politics is not the only arena of change, it extends into daily interactions, workplaces, and neighborhoods. Our choices echo through time. In this moment of reflection, ask yourself, what part will you play in this continuing legacy? How will you respond to the call for justice that has echoed through the ages? Our present is undeniably connected to King's timeless vision. It is our duty to honor that legacy, carrying it forward with determination. As we conclude this exploration of King's poignant words, let them not drift into the past. Instead, let them ignite our spirits, compel us to act, and inspire us to weave our own narratives of justice and change. The world awaits the echoes of our convictions to rise, demanding equality, dignity, and true democracy. In adversity, let us be the architects of the future King dreamed of, a future where justice flows freely and the ballots we cast are filled with purpose.